Snitches and rats are not the same thing. Let me break it down, make sure y'all see what I mean. A snitch is someone minding other folks' business to find information they can sell for a price or trade for some other form of compensation. A rat is a trader, a conceiver, planner, or physical participator. He doesn't sell secrets for power, for cash. He betrays the trust of his team or his family, hoping to save his cowardly ass. The difference is at least a snitch is human, but a rat is a fucking rat, period.
Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. How's everyone doing out there? Oh, welcome to another episode of PLM News Network. The Rat Saga continues. I'm your brother Fiji. And hey, we got another one that we have to expose. And this guy here, boy. I just don't understand these peoples. I don't understand them, but I don't understand them. So, just look. Here we go. And the next rat to get ran in this hole goes by the name of Thomas London. Now let me give y'all a little background on this rat. This rat is from the city of Chicago, from the wild hundreds. In 1995, when the indictment hit August of 95, this rat was squealing. Just squealing. Little whiskers just everywhere, you know what I'm saying? And he just couldn't stop. Tail wagging, he just couldn't stop. You know, these rats, man. Oh, man. There was a saying, though, that if it ever was a Holocaust, the only thing that'll be left on this earth will be rats and roaches. I was like, damn. Rats and roaches? That would, if a Holocaust hit, that would be the only thing that survived is rats and roaches? Nah, man. Nah. We got to get rid of these human rats. We got to run these rats back in their hole and stop these holes up. It's a lot of holes everywhere. They, you know what I'm saying? Holes just, you know what I'm saying? But, hey, we are the rat trappers. And that's our job. You know, we knew the job was dangerous when we took it. We knew it was going to be a difficult situation. But we're not going to stop. We're going to keep exposing. We're going to keep plugging up these rat holes. But let me run something by y'all. If you have a basket full of rats, a wicker basket full of rats. How do you keep them rats from eating through the basket? And I'm asking y'all this here because we plug up these rat holes. We have to secure the house. We got to secure the house. We got to make it foolproof. We got to put rat poison down everywhere. We got to have rat traps everywhere. We have to protect ourselves from these rats. So now, let's get into this rat, Thomas London. You know, boy. All right. In his grand jury statements, you know, it kind of, it's sad. I mean, it's really, really sad that how dudes that you entrust, you place your trust in these dudes. They run around like they tough. They calling all kind of shots. They make the money. They live a good life. But soon as it comes time for them to accept their medicine or to accept the repercussion that's coming behind their actions, they can't stop talking. I'm talking about they tell everything. They tell all of them. They tell so much they even be lying. They just lie. It's sad. You know, but let's get to Thomas London. Let's get to him. Because we have to expose this rat as well. Grand jury statement of Tommy London. I am 27 years old and live in Chicago and have lived in Chicago all my life. I began hanging around members of the Black Gangster Disciple Nation Street Gang since about 1982. So that means when the indictment came down in 95, we're gonna basically say he had like a 13-year run. So he had been running for 13 years. I guess he said around the Black Gangster Disciples. Larry Hoover was the head of the gang then and still is the head of the gang. Larry Hoover is called a chairman or chief. As a member of the GDs, you have to learn the gang's literature. Those are the rules of the gang that have to be followed. Every week there are literature classes where a teacher will make sure that we learn the rules. You have to learn your literature before you could get any rank. The first law is silence and secrecy. Bottom line, which you are breaking. You broke that. So how did you get some rank if you had some rank? I don't, you know what I'm saying? You violated law 1. You probably learned it, but you definitely didn't live it because you told on everybody. So let's keep moving along. No member should give any information or discuss any matter that concern any member or the function of the organization to any individual that is not a standing member. When a GD is in jail or prison, when you first come in, you are asked by the chief security what gang you are in. So you mean to tell me the so-called chief of security gonna go up to every person that comes in the institution, no matter what cell house they in, no matter where they at, the chief security gonna come and say, hey man, well, who you belong to? Sad. The GDs have a form called a 502 form. You have to fill out your name, nickname, governor's name, how long you have been a GD, and your rank. They will call a governor to see were you in good graces while you were out on the street. In prison and jail, the person in charge is the institutional coordinators. Right now in Cook County, that is Slim. So, you making a grand jury statement, and you are telling who was the institutional coordinator in the Cook County jail? Whew. Then there are building coordinators. The institutional coordinators and the building coordinators have their own staff. They have institutional chief security, legal advisors, treasurers, and coordinators called C's on each deck. All right, man. We see where this is going. On the streets, meetings were held where violations of the rules were discussed. You mustn't attend none of those meetings. You couldn't have attended any of those meetings. And if you did attend any of these so-called meetings, either you wasn't in the room or you were asleep and didn't understand nothing or hear anything that was being discussed. For a minor violation, a person could be fined. If a person did a major violation, he would receive a physical beating. These beatings could be a punch in the mouth or a beating with a baseball bat, depending on how bad the violation was. While you sitting in front of these people, in front of this grand jury, you sure should have been hit in your mouth. You sure should have been hit in your mouth, you rat. Any kind of violation, another kind of violation was a pumpkin head where one gang member holds the violator in a full Nelson and other members beat him in the head. Damn. That seemed kind of harsh. You know, I ain't never seen that. Don't know nothing about it. Never seen it. I don't know where these guys be getting this information from. I don't know any of this here because I didn't see none of this. You know, and me personally, I'm just speaking off my experience. So, hey, I don't know nothing about that. I have given and received violations over the years. Whoever was violating you must have been a child because evidently you ain't learned nothing from your violations. The coordinator, region, or governor decides on the violation. At the gang meetings, they appointed someone to be security. The security person was to look out for the police or for other gangs. When I was about 15 to 16 years old, I was made the area coordinator for Roseland. My area was from about 111th Street to 115th Street and from about Wentworth to Michigan. In about 1984 or 1985, a guy named Cole Black took over the area. Cole Black told Old Man. I think I remember hearing this name, Old Man, from Vic's proffer statements. Who? Never heard of this brother, Old Man. Is this a real person? Is this a fictitious character? Because he had to be the ghost. That's he had to be the ghost. You know, hey, boy, these rats, boy. These rats. Cole Black told Old Man he was the region and I was the assistant region. So you was Old Man's assistant. Cause Cole Black made you the regent, and made old man the regent, and made you his assistant. That was a bad choice. Old man and Cold Black told me that Cold Black was selling the cocaine to old man. So Cold Black and old man came to you and said, hey man, hey, I'm selling cocaine to old man. Old man would get about 4 ounces of cocaine a month from Cold Black, and he would cut it before putting it into pony packs or dime bags. I got cocaine from old man. I went to about 6 GDs who were already selling cocaine in my area, and I told them that I could get drugs from Cold Black, and I asked them if they wanted to get it from me. They said that well, if you going to them telling them that you can get drugs from Cold Black, why don't they just go to Cold Black themselves? Why they got to go through you? They told me they did. Why? I don't get it. I got them the cocaine to sell. Old man told me what to do if people who were not dealing for the GDs. All right, here we go. Throwing old man, throwing the ghosts under the bus. Throwing the ghost under the bus. First, he said to give them a warning and tell them that if they didn't want to sell for the GDs, they weren't going to sell in that area. All right. So this is what we working with. All right. Got you. Got you. Okay. So he said to threaten to beat them if they kept on selling. If they kept selling after the threat, old man was supposed to hold a meeting and security would go over to the seller and beat him with baseball bats. Damn. Do you have any shame, Thomas London? Any shame? Do you have any shame? After we started to chase out the other dealers, we really started to make a lot of money selling cocaine. I was made in the sister region when I was about 17 years old. Okay, you was 17 years old? Or were you, okay, you was 15 or 16 when you was a coordinator. You became the sister region when you were 17. My area was from about 107th Street to 115th Street, and from about Halsted to Cottage Grove. At that time, I started buying ounces of cocaine from Cold Black. Old man was getting half kilos from Cold Black. After a couple of years, I was made a regent, and old man was made a governor in the hundreds. I was buying about 9 ounces of cocaine every week from Cold Black. Rest in peace, Cold Black. Rest in peace. Now here's Cold Black. Right at this time, while this dude's sitting in front of the grand jury making all these bogus statements and saying all this stuff, Cold Black was in the Illinois Department of Corrections. So this dude is making statements about a man who was in the Illinois Department of Corrections at the time trying to get out. You want to know how I know Cold Black was in the Illinois Department of Corrections at that time? Because me and Cold Black had the same judge. As a matter of fact, it was me, Cold Black, Timbo, and Lil Chill. We all had the same judge. Our judge was Judge Serial. He was in courtroom 602. The same day that I got my 30 years, and Timbo and Lil Chill got their time, Cold Black got his time. All of us got our time on the same day. We all had the same judge. So I know this, and this took place in 1992. think it was 92. I think it was 92 that we all got our time. And so Cole Black was in the Illinois Department of Corrections at that time. So here's a man that was locked up, and this rat is sitting in front of the grand jury talking about this man that sold him cocaine. Old man and I held meetings all over the hundreds. GDs had to come to the meetings or they would get violated. At these meetings, we talked about how the cocaine sales was going, whether anyone who was not a GD was selling in our area, any problems from other gangs in the area, how the police was looking at our sales, and whether we should move because the spot was hot. Members could not use cocaine, heroin, or PCP. That was a law because if they had a habit, they might use the drug they should have been selling, or they might steal the money from the sales. Members could smoke pot or drink alcohol. The GDs who sold drugs for the gang got to keep some of the money that they made in sales, and they had to pay dues or taxes back to the gang. The regions would collect this money and give it to the governor. The governors would call or beep and tell the region that it was time to collect the money. The servers were the people who actually sold the drugs. The servers had to have one or two lookouts who watched for people's or other gangs. These lookouts sometimes held guns. They could buy guns from other gang members. One time, Cole Black and others bought guns over for other GDs, and we did not have to pay for them. Damn, man, these dudes have no shame, man. This man, boy, these cowards, these mugs, these lames, man. They have no shame at all. None. They just tell and tell and tell. When Cole Black went to jail, Michael G took over as the main supplier of cocaine to the GDs in my area. Michael G used to sell kilos of cocaine to Old Man. I used to buy from one of Michael G's workers called Starsky. I bought ounces from Starsky often. Now listen, Starsky is my man's. Starsky is fighting for his future. For his freedom. Sorry about that. Starsky is fighting for his freedom. And Starsky has life. Matter of fact, it was 7 of them on their case when they caught. All of us went through the Cook County Jail at the same time. It was Starsky, Ice Mike, White Mike, Nubs, J-Mo, Ace Dog, and Tom Slick. It was 7 of them on their case. They was in front of Judge Schreier, and so they all got mandatory life sentences, double life sentences for double murders or something like that. Did they do the case? Nah, they didn't do it. But they've been sitting in jail since 1990. They've been in jail 33 years now, man. And here we had this rat back in what year was this? What year did this rat do this here? I'm thinking this was had to be 95. It had to be 95. Victor Thompson was Old Man partner at the time. Yeah, Rat Vic. I'm glad this brother Old Man was the real ghost that 50 Cent did this movie. I'm glad he the real ghost, man. Because you got this Rat Vic and said his name. You got this rat Thomas London and said the man's name. And during this time, 1995, you know what I'm saying, when all this was going on, that's when all these indictments was coming down. So I'm glad this person was the ghost. I'm glad. Continue to be the ghost, my brother. Because you could see that these chumps was trying to nail you to the cross to save they cowardly ass. This cowardly ass dude Vic and this cowardly ass dude Thomas London. That's what they was doing. They was trying to nail you to the cross. So thank you for being the ghost. The GDs beat Thompson and he lost his rank. He should have beat his ass. He shouldn't have never had no rank. Rat. Pops and Shorty G made Cedric Parks call food the governor of this area. All right, now here we go with this trash again. Talking about the brother Food, the legend. Good brother. Stood tall, never ran his mouth, ain't never say nothing. Took a L like a champ. Stood up. Not only Food. Heron took it, Food took it, Pops took it, Quan Ray took it, Baldhead. A lot of these dudes took their time, man. They took their time. And even though these dudes was lying on them, K-Dog took it. K-Dog died in prison. Adrian died in prison from these rats. And then we still have guys out here in these streets hanging around these dudes, man. Talking to these dudes. People's went to federal prisons, man, for their life, 30, 40 years. Heron and them went to jail and they stood tall. K-Dog and they went to jail and they stood tall. These dudes had life. They went back to court and they got some of that time reduced. They was fighting. But K-Dog passed away in March of 2014. Good man. Died in prison. He was in Pekin, Illinois, and he died, man. Do y'all have any shame? Do y'all care that Adrian died? Do y'all care about any of this here? No, y'all don't care. Because you was only thinking about yourself. And you always had a get out of jail free card. Because you are a harlot. You are a prostitute. You are a government prostitute. You play for Team USA. Look at Pops. Pops was on death row. Quan Ray was the baby in the case. Him and Heron. They were the babies. Coming up out of them hundreds. And they stood strong. This is the baby. He stood strong. He was your little brother. And he stood strong. What did you do? You ratted. Rat. How could y'all, man? And then you still have people running around here hanging out with Willa. Hanging out in these clubs with these dudes, man. These dudes is the cause of people's dying in prison. Willa laid up here and gave all these statements, man, talking about what K-Dog was doing. K-Dog shot this. K-Dog said he shot this person. K-Dog did this. K-Dog did that. Then you got Vic running around here talking about this person did this. That person did this. And all you guys were entrusted to be loyal, to take your own medicine. You were doing wrong. So why when you do wrong, you start telling? But y'all are the same guys that was violating people's, calling violations on people, talking about this person doing that, that person doing that. But then you turn right around and become a Judas. You become a Judas. But you ain't got no shame. You don't care. You don't care. Food is still the governor of that area as far as I know. So let's get this understood. This dude was making these statements at the grand jury before the indictment ever even came down. The indictment hadn't even come down yet. This dude was in the jails telling. Matter of fact, he had to be in the Cook County jail. And the reason he had to be in the Cook County jail, because he was speaking on somebody by the name of Slim being the institutional coordinator of the Cook County jail. If he was in MCC, he wouldn't know nothing about nobody being no institutional coordinator in no Cook County jail. So he had to be in the Cook County jail. So he had to be in the jail. And what he was doing, he was trying to save his cowardly ass by telling on food. Talking about food, the governor. And Trouble used to be the governor in Roseland. He stole 36 kilos of cocaine from the vice lords. All right. Man, I don't get it. I really don't, man. Guys make all these calls, all these plays, terrorizing the city, terrorizing where they live, just straight up goons, and they gain this reputation of being goons. They are real goons when they with their friends and their homies and people's backing them. But soon as they got to stand up on their own, they become the prostitutes and the weak marks that they are. That's what they do. Then this dude here is running in and out of jail. Look. He just getting out of Sheridan. He's still on parole. He just getting out of the Illinois Department of Corrections. So this chump been running in and out of jails, in and out of jails, in and out of jails. Why didn't you just go do that time? Why didn't you just go do your time and allow everybody else to just live their life? Man, as you know, these dudes did 25, 26 years of their life inside of prison, and they kept it strong. They kept it 100. No matter how dark or how gloom it looked, they continued to fight. Then Obama passed the Fair Sentencing Act. I think that was in 2010, if I'm not mistaken. But he passed the Fair Sentencing Act. But he didn't make it retroactive, so they couldn't get no action then. Yes, it was. It was 2010, because 8 years later, in 2018, Donald Trump came along and made that portion of the Fair Sentencing Act retroactive. So which means that these guys was able to get their life sentences overturned. Now they at home. They living positive and productive lives. They giving back into the community. They protecting the community. They doing everything that they supposed to be doing. They have non-profit organizations. They have their own clothing lines. They selling books. They doing the lecture circuit. They are doing everything positive. They've come back home and they're giving back to the community in a positive and productive manner. But look at you, the rat. You still going in and out of jail, still doing crime, and you still got your get out of jail free card. That's, man, the government ain't nothing, man. They ain't shit, man. Straight up. Nothing. They don't care. They have no shame either. The government ain't got no shame. They keep dealing with these rats. They know this dude a rat. This the same dude that was in Jimmy D paperwork. That Jimmy D mentioned in his motion about them sliding his paperwork, Thomas London paperwork, up under his door by his mama and them trying to go to the witness protection program and all this stuff. That's the same Thomas London, man. This the same dude. That dude right there. That's the same dude that Jimmy D was talking about. Now all these, look at this little circle here, man. Look at this circle. You got this chump Willa running around here doing the repass for one of our founding fathers who was a legend. Then you got the same people that's paying him to do these repasses. And y'all mean to tell me y'all don't know that these dudes rats? Y'all, you just gonna tell me nobody got the galls to stand up to speak the truth? Nobody that's been out here. Guys locked away all these years. And nobody stood up to say, okay, but you know what they say? They ain't tell on me. They ain't tell them that. They ain't told on you yet. So if you're not worried about them telling on you, why not? I don't want to be around no rat. If I know a person is a rat, man, I'm not going to be around no rat. Anybody that I know that I've been around knows somebody that's a rat. They not hanging around no rats. Man, that's a rodent, man. Think about look at all the diseases and everything that a rat carries. Look what a rat does, man. A rat don't do nothing but causes chaos and destroy and bring in infectious diseases, man. Thomas London, you a rat. You got rabies. You got all type of infectious diseases, man. That's you. He was violated. Now this goes back to trouble stealing these 36 kilos from the vice lords. He was violated for that by Shorty G. Now you telling on Shorty G. You just telling. Now mind you, now these guys ain't even been locked up. They still on the street. They still on the street at the time. Now this chump is locked up, but he trying to regain his freedom. He trying to win his freedom. And he trying to win his freedom by any means necessary. Shorty G had him beat badly. Trouble later got his rank back. Michael G went to jail and it began to get hard to find cocaine. Now, Mike, my man, rest in peace, Mike. Rest in peace. If only you knew what was being said about you. Only if Cole Black knew what was being said about him. Only if Starsky know what is being said about him. What is the ghost? Old man. What is the ghost? Knew what was being said about him. I'm glad you guys never wind up in the system like that, man. For these charges, man. I'm glad. I had to buy cocaine from people's outside of the gang. After a while, I started buying cocaine from food. So now you telling on food. Now you buying cocaine from food. Now all this stuff is not matching up. Cause the last episode I did it about Willa, and Willa talking about all these kilos during this time when he was coming up. But this chump here is saying there wasn't no cocaine and that didn't nobody hide nothing. But eventually he started getting stuff from food. Food got his cocaine from Pops. Whenever I went to Food, he had cocaine to sell me. So he was getting his cocaine from Pops. Food was getting his cocaine from Pops. Man, free Pops. Free Quan Ray. Free Shorty G. Free these men, man. Free Larry Hoover. Man, Larry Hoover been locked up for 50 years. This is his 50th year in prison. Going on 50. Man, free these peoples, man. Why these rats still just running around the streets, man? Just setting peoples up, telling on peoples. Pops used to be the governor of Morgan Park, but now he is a board member. Shorty G used to be the governor of 79th Street from about Cottage Grove to Halsted. Since about 1990, Shorty G has been a board member who run the whole city of Chicago. G. Sharp was an enforcer for the GDs, and he was a board member. Raheem is also a board member. Another rat. Yeah, Raheem is a rat. You know why I know he's a rat? Because he's in the paperwork of the indictment that came down in 2016. And yes, this rat Raheem tried to set me up with the other rat McIntyre, college boy. All these rats, man. Trouble is a governor in the south suburbs. Michi is a region under food. The leader of the GDs is and always has been Larry Hoover. Before I went to jail in 1994, Pops saw that each region enrollers were given an ounce of cocaine to sell each week. This was called nation work, and you had to pay about $1,300 for an ounce. Usually, I got this from Funky Tone. Now you telling on Funky Tone. Your ass should have had the name Funky. You should have had the name Funky because you stink. You smell. You smell just like a rat. Funky Tone got his stuff from Trouble and Pops. In 1994, when I began co-op... So this had to be... So the indictment came down in August of 95. So this chump started cooperating in 1994. Now check out. Now I ain't never read this, man. When I come to y'all, man, I go get the information. I make sure that the information is authentic. So when I'm reading this stuff, I'm reading it and hearing and reading it for the first time, just like each and every one of you. So you basically see that I'm going through what y'all going through. Whatever comments that you have or whatever reaction that you have, I got the same reaction. So let's move on. In 1994, when I began cooperating with the government, Snake was the region in the area just east of me. So this chump was on the street working. He was working on the street in 1994. So they were still out. All of them was still on the street in 1994. This chump was working in 1994. So do y'all remember? In 1994, ABC News ran the story about the so-called gangster disciples in the city of Chicago and Larry Hoover and all this stuff, right? This is when Larry Hoover was still in Vienna. And after that, Larry Hoover wound up going to Dixon. This was in 1994 now. Now, if I'm incorrect about any of this here, send in your comments and correct me, and I will be glad to come back on and say that I am wrong and that I appreciate you for correcting me in this here. Now, mind you now, in 1994, I was in the South House in, say, 549 when they ran this, when the ABC World News ran this special about the GDs. Okay. After I got locked up, they split up my territory between Snake and Michi. So you was working in 1994, then you got locked up. You still sitting in the jail and you still working. Because now you going to the grand jury making all these statements. You sitting down now at the grand jury making these statements. Michi has now left town and Knuckles took over his territory. A guy called Owa Ballhead, whose name was Darrell, was the region from 119th to 127 from Halsted to Wentworth. Lil Heron, here we go. Mind you now, I just talked about Heron. How he was the baby in the case. How Willa threw him under the bus. Now here we go again with the rat Thomas London throwing him under the bus. The baby, that mind you now, this is the baby. Him and Quan Ray are the babies. So the babies who was looking upon you and others as examples had more heart and more courage Then the babies got life sentences. Quan Ray, free Big Q. He's fighting for his freedom. He has his clemency in. He has a petition in and change.org. Pops have his compassionate release, and they're trying to come home. They need letters of support from peoples out there, man. So if y'all have, if y'all willing to send letters of support for these men, man, with y'all, please just contact PLM News, man, 360 at yahoo.com, man, and ask what y'all can do. Send in your comments, man, and ask what can y'all do, and y'all need their information, man, and I'll be gladly, man, to post their information, man. They need letters, man. I talk to QQ always calling me, man, and we talk, we communicate, man. He emailed me, man, and we stay in tune. Our big brother, Pops, you know what I'm saying? He been having a few health issues right now, but, let's try to get these men out of jail, man. Look what these people was doing to them, man. They've been gone, man. They've been gone, man, since 1995, man. It's 28 years. It's 28 years. Mr. Hoover been gone 50 years. It's time for them to come home, man. Little Heron was a region from 115th to 127th Street and west of there. From Wentworth to Cottage Grove. Heron was a coordinator in that area, and then Lil Fool made him a region from 1993 until early this year. Knuckle took Heron's area after Heron hooked up with Victor Thompson. Now here's something else. First, the Will of the Rat said that Pops fined Heron $500, told Fool to fine Heron $500, and that Heron refused to pay, and that's why his rank was took. Now we have this rat talking about Heron lost his spot because he hooked up with Victor Thompson. K-Dog was an assistant governor of food along with Haywood. Man, rest in peace, K-Dog. The Wolf, rest in peace, bruh. Rest in peace. This is sad. This is sad. Sad. That man fought. And that man went into Federal Bureau of Prison and still was making it safe for guys to come through, man. Was protecting them. Rest in peace, bro. Truly, rest in peace. Matter of fact, I think our brother passed away March 14th, 2014. So he's been with the ancestors, man, for what, 9 years now? So he never got the chance to see his freedom, man. Same as Adrian. Adrian been passed away now probably like 9-10 years too. He was in not Viana, he was in Terre Haute camp when he passed away. Rest in peace, man. These guys never got a chance to see their freedom, man. They never got a chance because of rats like Thomas London, Willa, Jimmy D, Raheem, the rat, Gaddafi, all these rats, man. They rats. The other rat, McKinley Hayden, he's a rat. Yeah, y'all know what I'm talking about. Ken. Yeah, from Inglewood. Yeah. Yeah, you might be in there too, Mr. Hayden. Oh, man. It's so serious, man. It make you want to laugh, man. It makes you want to laugh. It's that serious. K-Dog had this area before he went to jail. I got my territorial back at some time after K-Dog went to jail. When a new governor comes into an area, he appoints his own region. Big Jeff was a region from Wentworth down to Cottage Grove from 103rd to 95th. Big Jeff had a car washed by 103rd. I knew Raynard McDowell was a supplier of cocaine to the GDs. Fool used to tell me that Pops would take $10,000 from Raynard for a lot of things like concerts or taxes. Recently, we was told to start putting our money into property. There was supposed to be certain real estate peoples who were going to help GDs do this. The property was supposed to be in someone else's name. So people's trying to go legitimate, right? They trying to do legitimate things. And they telling you all, hey man, take your money and put your money in legitimate businesses. Let's come up out of this stuff, man. We ain't gonna be able to be running around here trying to sell no drugs for the rest of our lives, man. We got to do something better, man. But it's rats like you. It's rats like you that makes it hard, man. When a GD gets arrested, he's supposed to let his governor know. If the governor won't, he will fine and pay for a lawyer to take his case, to take your case. Each region had to pay money that the leadership called political money. The regions went to the coordinators to get this money. Lil Fool said that Shorty G was always talking about spreading the GDs outside of Chicago. I used to go on trips out of state where other GDs talked to people in other cities and help GDs set up. We said that we would supply them with drugs. I went to Milwaukee and Minnesota to help give these talks. They also went to Iowa and other places. Pops, Gaddafi, and lots of GD. Rat ass Gaddafi. Damn, I just mentioned this dude's name. And then the rat popped up. This the same rat that y'all can go right there on Crown TV. Go on Crown TV and YouTube and punch in his name, which is Keith McCain. Keithmccain. And then you're gonna hear everything that he was saying when he was on the stand, testifying in the 2016 case. Federal indictment that included Shake and KK and Iz and a bunch of other peoples. On March 24th, 1994, after I started cooperating with the government, I brought 1/8 of a kilo of cocaine from Cedric Parks. And this man was working for the government. He went to the brother and got an 1/8 to keep of cocaine. I went with an undercover police officer and she gave the money to Parks and he started counting it. So you working, man, you ain't, man. You are a piece of crap. And then you got the nerve to still go back in the same neighborhood to be accepted by the peoples in the community? You the same man that was doing all these things that you saying other peoples are doing, and then you tell? Haywood was there doing the deal, and Haywood said that she looked like the police. So Haywood was on to something. The only thing that Haywood didn't understand was that you were the police. You were the police too. He could see her. See, that's what I always tell people. I always ask them the same question, and this chump just confirmed it for me. I always ask peoples, what makes a rat so good at his job? And you know, people always say to me, a rat, he ain't no good. That is true. But you know what makes a rat so good at his job? That rat can get amongst peoples and not be detected. See, the undercover female, Fam was able to, bam, he spotted her right off the back. He knew she was the police. But he didn't know that the police that brought her to him was standing right there as well. He thought you was solid. See, that's what make a rat job. That's what make a rat so good at his job. That a rat can get amongst you and speak your language and say the things that you say, and you would never know that this mark is a rat. Pops was counting the money and he said, she ain't the police, is she? I said, no, she ain't the police. So fool counting the money. And she ain't the police, is she? No, she ain't the police. Your punk ass was supposed to say, yeah, she the police. Hey, I'm the police too. Punk ass. Man, your punk ass. A few weeks later, I was at a meeting at 121st and Norma. There were a lot of GDs there talking about how LaFool had got shot. Trouble was talking about what we should do because LaFool got shot. Pops came in, began swearing and saying that we got to kill these guys, take care of this business. Hey, this chump is telling. He said that there wasn't going to be no transaction, no serving or nothing until he saw some bodies. Pops started to cuss Trouble out for not taking care of it. After Pops left, Trouble began to curse everybody out and said that if he got hurt, everybody was going to get fucked up. Trouble then turned the meeting over to a guy named Blue, who was head of security. Blue said that there was going to be a hit that night and that it was going to keep going on until Pop saw some bodies. We all got guns together and told all the guys where he wanted them to go. We were given concert tickets to sell by Haywood. Sometimes we were told that if we didn't sell the tickets, we had to make the money up. Other times we were told that we could bring unsold tickets back. I gave the tickets to the guys who sold drugs under me. We also had to give money for political picnic, for GD picnics. This is only a summary of my dealing with the GDs. This is not a complete history of the things I have done or a complete list of the peoples I dealt with. I have dealt with the GDs since I was very young. I know the rank of many more of the GDs and could tell you what these people's ranks are if I was asked. If I looked at pictures or saw documents, I could tell you more about more of my dealings with the GDs. This is why we have to be careful. This is the reason why we have to live our life positively. We have to positively manage our lifestyle. I'm glad that the brother Fool, Heron, Bible, C, Short, all the co-defendants, Sherman and GF, everybody is out, man. I'm glad y'all out, bro. Y'all served y'all time. Y'all served y'all time admirably, man. Y'all never rolled over. Y'all were soldiers all the way to the end. Not only were you soldiers into the end, y'all kept things in order. Out here, y'all went inside the system and kept the same order. Now y'all have come back home, back out after doing all these years and watched all these dudes out here that was out here. Now, matter of fact, let me start over. I got to think not only those guys, I got to thank everybody, man, who has done time, man, that I know they're solid, man. The Dirks, the Dopes, the Rios, the Mikes, the everybody, man. Oh, everybody. All of y'all, man. Everybody that has done time with me, man, rather been state or federal, man, and y'all stood strong, man. Man, y'all get my admiration because y'all knew that y'all did something wrong, man. And if you didn't do nothing wrong, you still didn't rat on somebody, man. Y'all did the time and came home, man, and y'all moved on with y'all lives. Man. All I can say is this here. All I can say is this here. Who's going to be next? Who's going to be next? Because there's plenty of you out there. I'm not playing no favoritism. I'm talking about all families. All families. I don't care what family it is. Because I'm still in coalition time. I'm still in coalition time. See, let me tell y'all why I'm in coalition time. Because it was them brothers from them other families. We was in that federal prison, Federal Bureau of Prison. My life was on the line. Them guys rolled with me. When their lives was on the line, I rolled with them. So I'm still on coalition time. So, coalition members, just know this here. I know there's some dirty peoples on y'all side of the fence. And if you think they in here, 9 times out of 10 they are. They in here. We gonna get them. Don't worry about it. But man, you can't ask nobody to go try to clean somebody else's house up when your house is dirty itself. So clean this house up. And as we cleaning this house up, we gonna help all the rest of the coalition believers and true followers, man, clean up their house as well. So my question to any and each and every last one of y'all, I'm gonna say this here one more time. Who's next?